The words left his mouth like spit. "You can't even afford a car, so shut your damn mouth." The room went still. Aunts stared at their tea. My brothers smirked. I just smiled. And right on cue, the thunder of rotor blades rolled through the open windows. Every head turned toward the lawn as a black helicopter descended, kicking up a storm of dust and leaves. I pushed back my chair. "My ride's here," I said softly. Dad's jaw slackened. Mom swayed, hand to her chest. Backstory: the fractured family. Growing up, I thought my father's voice was law. He decided who was worthy and who wasn't, and I was always on the wrong side of the line. To him, I was the failure, the one who wasted her potential. He paraded my siblings as successes: Mark, the corporate shark; Emily, the doctor; and me, the artsy dreamer who'd never make rent. When I walked out at 18, I didn't take much. Just a backpack, a notebook, and the bitter knowledge that I was leaving as the family's cautionary tale. Discovery of betrayal, the final cut. I stayed gone for years. Built a life brick by brick. But last year I got a call. Mom's voice shook as she told me they'd accidentally used my name to secure a family business loan. My credit was wrecked. Dad denied it, of course, said I should be grateful he even considered me part of the family's finances. Then, when I showed up to confront him, he laughed in my face. That was the day I stopped thinking about reconciliation and started thinking about revenge. Shift in mindset, strategy over emotion. I knew shouting wouldn't dent him. My father was a man who only respected power, visible, undeniable, expensive power. So I decided to give him a show. Not just to humiliate him, but to rewire the family's hierarchy, to make sure my name would never again be spoken with pity. The plan was simple: show up to the next family meeting as the version of myself they swore I could never be. But not through fake appearances, through proof, through assets, contracts, partnerships, and an entrance they'd never forget. Execution: building the moment. First, I called my business partner, Andre. We'd been quietly running a digital agency for the past 5 years. What started in my tiny apartment now had offices in 3 countries. We liquidated part of last quarter's profit into a trust, in my name alone. Then I signed the purchase of a waterfront property the day before the meeting. Finally, Andre made the call to a charter company. I didn't want a flashy sports car. I wanted something that would make the ground itself shake when I arrived. Climax: the confrontation. The meeting was at my parents' estate. Mahogany table, stiff-backed chairs, portraits of ancestors watching from the walls. Dad was midway through a lecture about financial responsibility when he turned to me. "You can't even afford a car, so shut your damn mouth." I let the silence breathe. Then, the distant thump, thump, thump of rotor blades grew louder. Everyone turned to the windows as the helicopter descended, the sunlight flashing off its black body. I stood, smoothing my blazer. "My ride's here." The pilot stepped out, holding the door open like I was royalty. And just before I left, I slid a folder across the table. Property deed, waterfront villa, paid in full, under my name. I turned to my brothers. "Next time you want to borrow money, send me an email." Dad's face was bloodless. Mom whispered, "Oh my God," before collapsing into her chair. Resolution: walking away. Outside, the wind from the rotors whipped my hair into my face. I climbed in, buckled up, and didn't look back until we were airborne. From above, I could see them still standing on the lawn, tiny figures staring up at the sky. For the first time in years, I wasn't the failure, and I realized I never had been. They just couldn't see past their own definition of success. Now, They'll never see me without remembering the day the sky came down to take me away.